Watching.
Oh, okay. Hey, what's up? This is Kimball Walters from Aeges.
And Tony from Aeges.
You're watching Sofa King Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Cool, yeah, let's do some stuff.
No
All right.
Spaghetti on my face anywhere.
Nope, you're good. Maybe do a little quick wash.
Quick wash.
What's your shit say?
Oh, it's a chain of truck stop
It's
places
like a
in
Wawa,
Texas.
like a huge Wawa.
I just seen the beaver and I was
Yeah.
intrigued.
The beaver is a nice touch, yeah.
Yeah,
He's the
exactly.
mascot.
I mean, anytime I see a beaver, I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
Yes.
what's that about?
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
All right, so we can cool here with the guys from Aeges.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Getting psyched up for the show.
All right, you know what? You guys are a newer band to me.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys want you to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
When you get to the end, stop.
So that's a long one. Well, the beginning, I guess the very beginning, like if you look at records, started in 2012 is when the first record came out, right? 2012. And Tony and I are the only members from that era still around. And it's almost like that was a different band, you know. The musicianship and the songwriting was just kind of like, it was subpar, I guess. It's still a cool record, but once we got Corey, and now we've got Dylan, the musicianship's kind of skyrocketed. You know, there's things that we can actually do now. We don't have to worry about. Crap, I feel like I'm just saying I'm just throwing the dirt out.
The dirt's the best part, so
Yeah.
fucking throw that shit right out on the table.
Well, anyway, we released a record, Above and Down Below. That was our second record. First one with Corey, we had a different drummer at the time, but the musicianship from the first to the second record is a huge leap, and so sonically it jumped up, you know, and that's kind of like, I would say that's where we've started as a band now. So our second record to me is like, that's really our first record. And we released a record, our first major label record with a producer. Everything else we did ourselves. Was Weightless through Century Media. Yeah.
Last year,
yeah.
Well, see, that's what I like. I mean, there's always going to be changes in bands that go through there. I mean, you start off, you never know what you're doing. You guys have friends, you're playing in fucking bars and
Yeah.
doing your thing. When reality kicks in and you guys go into high gear, and there's different talks of, hey, we can do an album, we can do this, we can do that.
Well, I guess at the beginning we definitely wanted to make a record. It was a serious band. I don't know that I would say the songwriting was subpar. It just wasn't.
That was the worst thing.
It's not bad.
Bad
It's just not. I don't think our full potential had been realized. And
we weren't really focused at that point. We were more looking at like, what are our collective, out of our favorite bands, what collectively are two of them that we all agree on, you know? And two of them were Quicksand and Failure, and so that kind of became our platform. And so I feel like we were dipping further into sounding closer to those bands, and we actually found our sound when we got Corey and the other drummer. You know, it kind of became more of what does Aeges sound like, not what if these four guys sound like writing a record that, you know, they would want them. I don't know. I'm getting lost.
No, it's. I mean, we all have similar taste in music, and I had come from a background that was more like heavier, hardcore, and noise rock, and that kind of stuff. Kimball had been in a band that was, he had done some hardcore stuff too.
It had been a while though. Yeah, the last band I had, we were together for 5 years or so, and it was like a rock and roll thing, like Iggy, kind of mixed with a little pop. So it was very, very straightforward and guitar solos and stuff like that. Not really.
Okay. Yeah, so we all had the same, when Corey joined the band, we realized how much we really loved Queens of the Stone Age too. So I feel like there was some Queens of the Stone Age influence on the second record, that maybe wasn't there on the first record. So our
dipping into our scenery too, you know, because that's kind of like the Southern California sound almost, or like a lot of the bands that we like from Southern California kind of have this desert sludgy vibe to it, you know. And Queens was the one that actually brought melody into the genre, or more melody, you know, that kind of made it a little more acceptable for mass production. And that's what we really gravitated towards. It's the way that they could do these heavy, big riffs and still, you know, anybody in their car can sing along and
Yeah,
enjoy it. You know?
for sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, I'm gonna go back to what you said earlier when you said subpar. I mean, you know what? It's not a matter of that. It's a learning process of,
Sure.
with any band that goes
Yeah.
through there. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't just start off and being like, you know what, fucking, we were playing at the prom and playing at the fucking local bar, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he misspoke because it's
Yeah.
not like we don't listen to that record and be like, oh God, it's terrible. It's not like that at all. It's just
Some
just
people,
maybe a
that's their
little bit-
favorite record of ours.
Yeah, it's all you know. It's in the eye of the beholder, or
Yeah.
whatever, or the ear of the beholder rather. But
Musicality wise, it's a lot simpler than what we do now.
yeah,
I guess that's, yeah.
Like I said, I mean, you can go through almost every band that there was, and you could see their earlier pieces. If you got to go through and go, you know, especially now with the internet and fucking
Yeah.
everything that's out there where it's there, you know what I mean? I mean, listen to early shit from somebody else, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this band
Yeah,
that I'm
yeah.
listening to? And then, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
a matter of building your own niche and falling into what you are and what you are now.
Yeah, totally.
Sure.
Now, I've got a question for you guys. There's a lot of things going on with bands these days, and different people in the media and accusations and things that are going out there, and you guys are a coming up band, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're doing an interview with Rolling Stone instead of me today, okay?
Right.
They reach over and they touch your dick.
That
How
would be
long
a-
are you guys are gonna wait before you guys, 20 years like some of the celebrities
No.
that are out there now, or are you guys gonna mention, you know, hey,
Oh, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't be cool with it immediately.
yeah.
would you see? It's. I mean, this opens up a whole can of worms. This whole
Yeah.
discussion because I don't know. I don't want to call it a double standard, but as a guy, I don't think it just doesn't happen as often. You know, like
Yeah.
at least not. Let's see. I'm trying to think of an example. Is when that's happened to me before, and it was a girl.
Someone tried to touch your dick before?
I didn't, not my dick, but like if you know, like
mouth?
if I'm in a place and I don't know, somebody grabs my ass in a club, if I turn around and it's a cute girl, I'm not really that pissed off, you know. So
What if it's a dude? It's a different
if
story.
it's a dude, then it is. But yeah, I don't know. There was something in the workplace that happened to me where nobody actually touched me, but there was some suggestive remarks. And I didn't rat him out because I just didn't want to deal with it, and I didn't want to. I guess I just wanted it to. I made it clear to him that I wasn't. I'm not digging this, and he stopped. But I just wouldn't want that because it is like an embarrassing thing. Like it's a huge workplace, and if a lot of people were to find out about that, I don't think I would really dig all that kind of attention. So
I think it's also like for a lot of those actresses and stuff like that, they're trying to build this career, and they might not necessarily have done anything with.
What about Louis C.K. though? I mean, you got to go on that.
That's messed up.
You see
That's
what I'm saying? I
freaking
mean,
weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
keep
that's-
in mind, like
That's just somebody being super cocky.
I'm gonna say this
Yeah.
out in here before we start talking about bullshit because I like to shoot the shit. But like,
Sure.
some of it is fucked up and it's terrible that shit happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But some of it, I think, is bullshit. You know,
It very
I mean,
well could
it's a
be,
50-50.
but it's a hard thing to like point a finger and say you're lying because you never really know, and you don't want to.
But
accuse somebody of lying.
in a bad situation like Louis C.K., I'll bring up again, he asked to jerk off in front of these girls, and
Well,
now
apparently-
they're saying, fuck, you know what I mean?
Well,
Now he's
yeah,
like,
but-
how dare you?
But wasn't it also he was blocking the doorway too? So, or is that?
I wasn't in the room.
Yeah. See, that's
you know what I mean?
because
you know?
that's too. I mean, if they agree to it and they're like willing participants, then fine. But if
Yeah.
but some people I think were saying that he was, he was not letting them leave the room, and it was always in these areas where it's like an empty room where he had them. There was nobody else around. That's just it's a real. It's pretty every day when I read the news, it's just like a different person is getting accused of stuff. If the stories are not true, that's almost, I feel like that should be that could be punishable, as severely as somebody who commits that kind of an act, because that's
Reversing the accusation, I feel like, is a lot harder.
Right. For
so,
sure.
Yeah, so that would suck. But it kind of seems like a lot of these guys aren't really fighting it that hard.
I'm just
They're
saying,
kinda
it's
like,
an odd point in time in our culture where, like, every day you read somebody new fucking, you know
Sure.
what I mean? I mean,
the
Kevin
floodgates are
Spacey,
open, and it's an
fucking
acceptable
this and that.
thing now. People aren't afraid to stand up or like say something because somebody took the stance and did it.
And a lot of
And
people
now
are
it's just
admitting it.
freedom,
And then, you know, these people are admitting, like, I apologize if what I had done was, you know, traumatic for that person, and I'm very sorry. You know, so a lot of them, some are denying it, and then others are just like, oh, okay, yeah, that was
Sounds
messed
like
up,
me if I was
you
with,
know?
like, what was House of Cards guy? I was like, yeah, I
Kevin-
get drunk.
Kevin
I
Spacey,
probably did.
yeah.
I don't know.
And he's like, yeah, I fucking asked
Yeah,
touch
he's
your
like,
cock.
I get hammered and I act crazy. So yeah, sure.
Now I just heard a story about that. I mean, I don't know if I'm spreading shit, but somebody on The Usual Suspects, that's early '90s, said that there was Kevin Spacey incidents back then.
You know,
So-
I heard the same shit. You know what? They were talking about Bryan Singer, because Bryan Singer just got fired from the Queen movie.
Oh, right.
But not for touching dicks, but for yelling at fucking Mr. Robot. I don't know the kid's name, but you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. The Freddie Mercury
yeah,
character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I know exactly what, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
just weird how shit goes and goes
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, that's, I mean, thankfully I haven't had to really deal with so much of that, but it is crazy to just read the news.
Well,
and
keep in
all
mind,
that.
I mean, you guys are fucking up and coming, so somebody
Hope
might
so.
touch your cock sooner or later.
In an interview scenario, like, I mean,
I mean, I'm not going to do it. So
for sure, but
calm down.
anything's possible. Anything's possible, but I think now more than ever, because of everybody speaking up, I think people are going to start minding their P's and Q's a little bit more, because now it's
100%.
Yeah. So
I mean, I seen Ryan Seacrest where he doesn't shake hands anymore. He'll grab your wrist if you go out for a hug. He even made that public, like fucking
really,
Weird.
don't,
Crazy.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? I don't want too close of contact because fuck you, you know?
Yeah. That's crazy.
interesting.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about more of the music and you guys and doing things, you know? I mean, I was talking to you guys earlier before the camera started. Actually, it was your drummer that was in the room.
Okay.
And you guys right now are making a name for yourself. You guys got tens of thousands of hits on your YouTube videos. People know you. They're almost just as excited to see you as the headliner.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
I want to talk about the earlier days when you guys played. How hard is it for somebody that is a headliner when the band is up there doing everything they have to do, and you see the people in the crowd are just fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It still happens to us, man. I mean, yesterday we played Huntington, and the crowd afterwards was super receptive when we were off stage. But when we were on stage performing, it seemed like nobody was paying attention, or they were, but they were just
Like they
kind of
just didn't care.
like, you know, blank stare, like, okay, when are you done? When's Chevelle coming? Which I get it, you know, this is their show. But every other show that we've had so far, the crowd has been insane. But you
I
kind of
actually-
just have to go through it.
I
because-
think, well, to further what you're talking about, the tour's been great so far. It's been through the South and like a little bit of the East Coast, and the crowds have been great, very responsive.
Yeah.
Awesome every night until last night, and now last night it's New York City, so we know what it's like in LA. Everybody's too cool to move around or like get into it because
Doesn't
you know,
mean they don't
they're
enjoy
just-
it.
right. And
There's
so,
like a
and I
show
know
here.
New York has a similar reputation. So after we got off stage, I'm like, okay, you know what? We're in New York. You
Yeah.
know, like this is what LA people do too. So it's just
And they kind of showed it that way once we were done. You know, people were super cool and like coming up and be like, dude, that was freaking fun. You guys are killer, whatever. But we're still making it. I mean, like you're saying, we're up and coming-ish, you know. We'll play in LA sometimes and nobody shows up, you know, or we're playing for, opening for a band that's kind of different from us and it's not our scene and it's a whole bunch of new people. And you just kind of have to go through the motions and hope that like 3% of those fans stick with you, and then that builds your fan base a little more. They tell some more people, and then you start building your audience through like a wide variety of genres.
But that's the
Ideally.
genre thing is another thing, because if
Yeah.
you're playing with somebody and the two bands don't fit quite as well, it's or it's like it's different
tough.
crowds.
Yeah.
You're not gonna expect to really
Mesh together.
to blow people
Yeah.
away if they're there to see a style of music that's not really what you're doing. So
Yeah, we're usually either heavier or softer. We're very rarely the same type of band, and so we usually like to be the heavier band,
Right.
because I feel like loud is always better than soft, in my opinion. But I feel maybe on this tour, we're kind of equal heavies, but Chevelle's probably a little bit heavier than we are, you know. And that's always a crowd thing. Like, their fans want Chevelle. They want that intensity. They want those big guitars and those big hooks and stuff. And so when we pop up and we do our version of that, sometimes it doesn't work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah. Sorry, the text just said that we have a 7:45 set time.
Oh,
so.
All right. Okay.
We thought it was going to be like 8:30.
Okay.
So we're going on sooner than we thought.
All right.
But we still got time. But
Yeah. We'll probably have to wrap in just a little bit.
All right. Well, whenever you guys are ready, I have to say fuck off and
Yeah.
let them be on it.
Let's give it like 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Cool.
Well, what I want to talk to you about is that you mentioned that the United States crowd, nobody really does give a fuck. You watch these shows, man. People are on their phone. They're videoing you. They're fucking playing around.
I feel that's just the way kids are. Even me, I'm always on my phone, just like, what the crap's going on? And you have to make a conscious effort to detach yourself from it. And so you can't really blame people for having a short attention span anymore or videotaping you. Because if people are videotaping us, I don't ever want to ask them to do it, but I kind of, sometimes I'll be like, yo, film this. You know, if I don't see any cameras up, it's like, yo, pull your camera out and film this, post it on Instagram. Because it's another way of free advertising.
Right,
you know? And so
that's a good way to
it's
look at
it's like a pro and con kind of thing, you know. It's pushing.
well, for us, because we need all the all the
we
new
need
fans
the
we can
exposure.
get. But you have people like Tool and Perfect Circle who
They take them.
they don't allow the phones even in the venue. Like you have to
Yeah.
leave them in the car, you have them taken away.
I
And
think
that's
that's
just for
awesome,
them.
though.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. And
It's like a
if I
fucking
was-
Danzig, man. You guys ever been to a Danzig show? See that
Oh
shit?
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It is cool when you have the power to tell this generation, you're gonna experience this the way that it was when we first started, and that was you connecting with us, and that's it. Nobody outside the show is gonna know it all, what happened, and see it. It's all stories now, you know. And if somebody was there, you can talk about the exact same thing. You were on that side stage, I was on this side stage. You compare notes, whatever. But being a band like Tool that sells even like Chevelle, like if they cut off the cell phones and stuff, you got a packed house. Almost everything here has been sold. The whole tour has been sold out pretty much. So if you can do that, I think it's cool to say no cell phones. But for us, it's just like Spotify. Spotify screws artists, but when you're our size, it helps us because you can just share a link and there's our record. You know?
So when you guys get big enough, what's the first thing you're gonna tell people they can't fucking do in your show? That no red shirts, no beavers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, nah, dude, we don't care.
We don't
as long
like,
as
we
they
don't
have
like
fun.
to put rules on anybody,
Yeah.
unless it's. I mean, obviously nobody's allowed to be an asshole, but
That's probably the only rule, I think.
yeah, because I want people to have a good time, So if that doesn't, as long as that doesn't interfere with somebody else's good time, by all means, do it,
Yeah, we're an easy bunch of dudes, man. We just like to hang out, freaking drink some beers and play loud music.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I know you guys are gonna go back on stage. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but
Yeah.
I do want to know. I want to listen to your music.
Yeah.
I want to see your next tour dates. I want to see the next album. I want to see all that fucking shit. I want to tweet you and fucking Snapchat you, whatever the fuck there is.
Yeah.
Where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do?
Everything we have on the internet, social media, website, everything is Aeges Band. So AEGES band.com is the website. At AEGES Band is Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr probably. And then Bands in Town is, it's connected through our Facebook, facebook.com/Aeges Band. That's the big thing, it's just AEGES Band. And then that's everything we have.
yeah. Spotify is just the Ages, but yeah.
Yeah, Spotify is just, you just type in AEGES and that's us.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Pleasure
Yeah,
to talk to
thanks.
you.
This
Thank
is
you.
fun.
Can't wait to see you the next time when I know you guys can be the headlining show.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That'd be killer.
I hope you're right about that.
Hey, before you go, I need a